Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is Friday, March 18th, 2022. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada with my husband and my 2 kids. Welcome to all you new subscribers out there and thank you very much for coming back. Today for you I have What Am I Wearing? Finished objects, works in progress, next on my needles, and some chatter. Let's get started, shall we? First up, what am I wearing? Today I am wearing my Driftwood. This is a pattern by Isabel Kramer called Driftwood, and it is a lovely Henley neck sweater. I decided not to put any buttons on and I just stitched it mostly closed. I'm actually thinking of stitching it like all the way closed. I kind of like that look. It's got a rolled hem thing at the top here, but then ribbing at the sleeves and the bottom of the sweater. So it has a very nice fit to it. I did make it a little bit oversized because I like a loosey-goosey sweater to make sure I have space to move and do things. Yeah, so I don't like anything super tight, although I usually wear a very tight shirt underneath it. So I don't know what that says about me. I knit this sweater in 2018 as part of the big trip that we did in 2018. I took 8 different projects with me and finished most of them because we were driving a lot and sitting around campsites a lot. So the yarn that I used for this one is Knit Picks Mighty Stitch, and the purple is mulberry and the gray is silver. So, but purple is one of my favorite colors. I think I've worn this one on the podcast before and talked about how the sleeves are like really long and I end up rolling them up. They're also a bit baggy, like I like the rest of the sleeve, but I think I would have decreased a bit more through the arm, the lower arm, and then and cast off maybe like 4 rows sooner. I don't know, or 3 rows and done the ribbing like here. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day I'll rip it out and fix it, or maybe I won't. I usually just leave this one to like a more of a around the house sweater. So if I roll it up, you can see the like carries of the yarn, and otherwise it's pretty on the inside. But anyway, does it really matter? Does anybody really care in looking so detailed at your sleeve? But that's a better fit for me, so maybe I'll fix it in the future. Maybe I'll just leave it and I'll just have warm hands. Either way, the rest of the fit is great. Like I said, I might just close this up, or I might just leave it and let it curl, do its thing. I don't know. Feeling a bit out of sorts this morning. I haven't been sleeping well, and we'll get more into all of that in the chatter segment at the end, because some people are only here for the knitting. So we will start off with the knitting and get into my life stuff later. So that is it for What Am I Wearing today, and we'll move on to finished objects. So my first finished object today is the Let's Hike headband. The pattern for this headband is Let's Hike by Shanna S. Cohen. And I did make it a bit wider than she called for in the pattern because I really like it to fully cover my ears. So it is quite thick, but I love it. I love it. It's just some acrylic that I had in stash. It's DK weight. This yarn is Loops and Thread, the Joy DK base, and this is the Lagoon colorway. I don't know why it's called Lagoon, but there we are. You can see where I seamed it up there. She did call for like a provisional cast on, and then you graft it. I just seamed it up. I just put that at the back. Nobody notices. It's fine. So yeah, that is my Let's Hike headband, and it is done, and I've been wearing it a ton because we're in that kind of, it's still winter, so there's like a bit of wind and it's cold, but it's not -10 outside, so this is perfect for outside. And it hasn't been cold enough in the hot tub, so I haven't worn it in the hot tub yet, but that is my plan for next winter because my ears always get cold when we go in the hot tub, but the rest of me is warm. And then if I wear a full hat, then the top of my head gets really warm. So if I just have a headband, all will be well. So that's the first finished object. The second finished object is actually two finished objects. And I haven't shown or talked anything about this on the podcast yet, but here we go. I made quite a few years ago. Sorry, you probably just saw all of the mess that's behind me in the house. I have very limited time to podcast today, so I'm just gonna go with it, and the house is what it is, and because other people live in the house, and you know, that's just real life sometimes. Sometimes I try to tidy up in a corner and find a space for myself where I can, you know, show a pretty wall or a pretty something, and sometimes you just get the messy house. So that's what you get here. All right, now I've been waving this around, you probably want to know what it is. So I want to say like at least 10 years ago, I made myself a pillow for my e-reader because I like to knit and read or lay in bed and read, and my e-reader, you know, it has that thing where it flips the pages and stuff. And so yeah, anyway, when I lay in bed, that it's nice to have it on my little pillow, and I can just kind of swipe the pages as I need, and I'm just kind of relaxing. Or sometimes I'm doing like some stretching and stuff, and then I can have my phone up on my little pillow. Yeah, so I made one for myself a long time ago. I'll put a picture of it in here. It's brown. It's made out of some acrylic. I don't know. And then recently, a friend of mine who has seen me use that pillow, because we go camping together and I use it like on the side of my chair or whatever, she's like, I spent 2 hours online searching for where I could get a pillow like that. Now there are iPad ones that are quite big that you can get like a pillow for your iPad, but she wanted one just for her e-reader or her phone. So she wanted one smaller, more compact. They have a camping trailer, so they just need something small that she doesn't want another big thing to put in there. And she'll probably use it at home too. Anyway, so she just wanted something small, and she's like, I can't find it anywhere. Where did you get that? And I was like, well, actually I made it. And she's like, oh. So I pulled up the old pattern that I used, which is on Ravelry, but it just links to this lady's blog. The pattern is called E-Reader Pillow Prop, and it's by Elizabeth Arundel. I'm terrible with names and I apologize. And my show notes again are down below, which is why I'm looking. Anyway, so it said it called for like a worsted or Aran weight yarn. So I pulled out some scraps of Knit Picks worsted that I have. I think this is wool of the Andes. I don't know. The tag is long gone. So I just pulled some from my scrap bin that I thought would be enough, and I made this one, and it is significantly smaller than the one that I made. So we'll see if this fits her. And also, I don't know what happened with the baubles, but they're kind of flat, and I don't know whether something will get stuck on it properly or not, but there is that one. So it is significantly smaller. I'm still happy with it though. It'll still work. And so then I decided to pull out some, what I thought were Aran weight scraps. So you can see the size difference. I went up a needle size as well. This is a wool Color Adventure, which is dyed here in the Okanagan, I believe, or somewhere in BC at least. And I still have to weave in the last end, but, this is their Exquisite Aran in the wave color, and I made some fingerless mitts, and this I still have a bit left after even this. So this one is bigger. You can see it's slightly bigger, but I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but like there's definitely spots where you can see the filling in it. I did I did everything the same on the bottom with the bobbles. But again, they're kind of, I don't know, maybe I just need to like poof them up more to make them stand, or maybe I just need to try it out and see. But so I made that one, and then this is getting into whips too, but I'm talking about it already. So then I thought, but that's like fancy wool, and she's gonna take it camping, and what if it gets wet, and then it's gonna felt or not dry properly, and it's gonna smell like wet sheep. And anyway, so then I thought, well, I'll make her some acrylic one. So this is some loops and thread, impeccable, and this is the Aran tweed. So this is even thicker yarn than the blue one. It is turning out about the same size. You can see kind of that's about the same size. So this will be, but it is a little denser because this yarn is a bit ploofier than the other Aran. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing, is knitting all these e-readers. And I just stuffed them with regular fiberfill. I did think about putting something kind of heavy at the bottom, but I just didn't have anything on hand, and mine doesn't have anything heavy on the bottom, and I don't find it a problem at all. Also then if it gets knocked over or something, you're not worried about like a heavy thing hitting against your head, or anyway, long story short, third e-reader on the way. There you are. So that is what I've been working a lot on. So 2 finished, 1 on the way. We'll see which one works best. I'll probably keep one for myself and different parts of the house, and you know, maybe other people would like them. I don't know. But we'll have to try them out and see kind of what works and what doesn't work. I rewrote the pattern a bit because she knits it like in a different way, and I kind of, instead of picking up a bunch of stitches, I did it a different way and tried to not pick up a bunch of stitches. I still pick up some stitches, but anyway. So there is that long-winded description of what I've been working on a lot. It is good, like just round and round knitting, because you just decrease ever so often and then round and round and round. So they're pretty quick to knit up, but also kind of mindless. So that is super awesome. That is it for finished objects, and we'll move on to works in progress. So for my first work in progress, I'm going to talk about my Hinterland sweater. Like I've said before, this is a long-term project. I really need to focus when I knit on it. And because of things that have been going on in my life lately, I haven't had much time just to sit and focus. I will talk more about that later, sort of. And yeah, so anyway, back to the pattern. So I did do a couple rows this week on this. You probably can't tell. It probably doesn't look that much different than last week, but I'm still super happy with it, and I still really want the sweater. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep plugging away at this, and then I will get there eventually. So this is my Hinterland. The Hinterland is by Jennifer Steinglass. She has so many amazing colorwork patterns. I just keep seeing them pop up and again and again and again. She has some like nice cabled ones, and just, she's got that sweater vibe down. So yeah, lots of good stuff from her. The yarn these are both a Cascade yarns in their 220 fingering weight. The purple is plum, and the white, which is actually like a very light gray, is called buff. So it is a dyed color. It's not a natural color, but it is a very, very light, like whitey gray. So anyway, gives it a good contrast. So that is it for my Hinterland. Maybe I'll have time this weekend. Doubtful. I'll work on it soon, I promise. I really do want the sweater, but also it's a fingering weight sweater, so it'll be good for spring, but then also it's a sweater, so it'll be good for the fall too. So, you know, I'll finish it whenever I finish it, and we'll move on to the next project. Okay, what do I have here? I have finished the first half of the fingerless mitts, except for the thumb. you know what? I'm gonna roll up my sleeve and put this bad boy on because it looks so good. Okay. Can you see that? So it is a pencil. Obviously I need to weave in the ends, and this will block out a bit more so that it's a bit more, I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna block it on. And then I still have to finish the thumb on this one. And then I have the other one, which I am working on the thumb. And again, the thumbs and the fingers, what you do is you can fold them down. Excuse all the ends that I have to deal with. I don't deal with them until after I've blocked it. So you can fold it down as much or as little as you like, and then you can still use your fingers. And then if you're like walking along or driving in your car, you just fold them up and your fingers are fully covered. It's kind of like a mitt, so you can do what you need to do, keep your hands warm. And then if you need to text or whatever, you just quickly fold them down. The thumb does the same thing. So yeah, so that is the pencil part, and I'm gonna do the thumbs first, and then I will start with the paper. So that's super exciting. And I don't know, I wound up, the balls have very different numbers on them. I don't know. I wonder if some of the, no, because it was in a skein when I got it. So anyway, this one has a lot left. This one doesn't have much left. So that is where we're at with those. But anyway, it is what it is when you get hand-dyed yarn. I had plenty to do what I needed to do, so that was good. And I'm glad I did them 2 at a time, because otherwise I don't know if they would match. And where's this one? This is the one I'm doing the thumb, but I kept all my markers in for counting the 10, how many rows. It's easy to count in the color sections because then I just count each color and I know what to do. But this whole section is just plain, and at what point did I put the thumb in and all that kind of stuff. So kept all those in so I can make the paper ones exactly the same. And then they will each get a paper and pencil wristers. I did make the realization the other day that Cooper actually has 4 teachers, so they do community teaching in his middle school. The community he's in, well, all the communities have 4 teachers each, because he's in the French immersion program and there are only enough students for half of a community of French immersion. Then they have then they have 2 other teachers on the English side, and then they do other things where they do, I think it's 60% in French and 40% in English. So then they have some things like PE and different art projects and stuff that they do in English as well. And they have an English class where they, learn English grammar and stuff, because they kind of need that too. Being in Canada, you need the French and the English. Anyway, he has 2 other teachers that I'm going to also make gifts, but I'm probably just going to make them like a bulky hat or something quick and easy, because he doesn't do a lot with those teachers, but I also want to recognize them too. So 4 teachers, super fun. And then I also have Taylor's teacher. Still have to figure out exactly what I'm going to make her, but they had a wear your favorite color t-shirt day at school. So I know now that what her favorite color is. So we just have to pick out some yarn from my stash, and I'll probably make her socks. Her feet are about the same size as mine, so I think I can whip out some socks for her by the end of June. So that will be super, super fun. All right. I didn't talk about the pattern or the yarn. Oh man, you guys. I don't know. I'll get back in the hang of this. I think maybe the 2-week thing is throwing me off, or maybe my brain is just going. So the pattern is the Dream Fingerless Mitts by Marsha Healy. And she's a friend of mine. She's a local friend of mine, local-ish. Lives like an hour and a bit away. So anyway, you go check out her patterns. She has some super awesome ones. And yeah, I love these mitts. Like, I'm sure other people have done mitts similar to this, but I just love these ones. Anyway, I've knit quite a few of them. This yarn that I'm using, the stationery set, is from the Yarn Enabler. I don't think she's dyeing right now. I think she had some health issues and maybe kids' health issues. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. And anyway, she's not dying right now, but there are lots of her kits floating around. She did like lumberjack ones, lumberjill, so like with pink instead of red. And then the stationery sets. I can't remember all of them, but you know, if you can get your hands on some, it's totally worth it because it's fun yarn. Okay, so that's pattern, yarn. I've talked about that project. We'll move on to another project. So the next project I'm going to talk about are the DK socks that I'm working on, and a little bit of a tale of woe. I knit the whole sock, one whole sock, cast it off, put it on, and it was way too big. It was loosey-goosey, it didn't fit right. I like my socks with a little negative ease. The stitches, like the gauge seemed a little off. I don't know if my tension changed from the foot to the leg. The leg was all kind of weird, like loose, the stitches were loose. And the ribbing wasn't working right. I think I'm gonna switch back to a 1x1 rib. I don't know. I'll put a picture in because I did put it on my foot. Somehow the heel was bigger than when I tried it on the last time. I don't know. It just wasn't working, guys. So I ripped the whole thing out. I ripped it out. But I have started again. Yeah, I'm liking it much better. It's a much denser fabric. So I just went down one needle size. I don't remember what these ones are. But they're a Knit Picks needle. I'm much happier with it. So this yarn is the Ginger Snap, which I've folded her label all weird, but Ginger Snap. She's on Etsy, so Ginger Snap that. And this is her DK sock set in the Squishy DK. So it is a merino nylon, and this is the Hansel colorway, and it comes with these fun minis. I have already split them into 2 balls, each the mini and the full skein split it into 2, so we're good to go. I know how much I have left. I'm basically going to use up all of yarn, I think. Yeah, and I think I might do the leg of the sock in ribbing. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. It's much slower for me, but then I definitely get a nice snug fit around my ankle and leg. So anyway, there's the foot. I'm just about at the heel now. Yeah, this pattern that I'm using, I've modified the Vanilla Reversed pattern by Annie Fletcher, just to have these numbers because I only have 52 stitches. And that's not in the pattern. She does have a DK sock pattern, but it is cuffed down. So I just kind of took a look at that, took a look at what she did for the numbers, and then modified the toe up one, because that's what I'm doing, to use those numbers. Does that make sense? I don't know. I wrote it all out, but I am using that pattern as a base. So there we go. So there we go. That is that one. And what do we have left on my list? So I've done the Hinterland DK6. Oh, the last one. I think I'm going to take those socks with me today. And I totally forgot to take a picture of my friend's sock. She's knitting the same sock set, but in the Wineberry colorway. And she's just finished the heel, and she's got to decrease and go up the leg. And I'm so proud of her. She was like, yeah, we did the heel while I was over at her house for one night this week, or this last weekend. And you know, she was like, okay, so what do I do? And what do I do? And what do I do? And she did great. So it was awesome. The last project that I have is Taylor's birthday sweater. In November, Taylor will be turning 11. And in the Harry Potter world, that is when you get your letter to go to Hogwarts. And it's a big deal. Now, Taylor has been listening to the Harry Potter books with my husband, as he did with my son. And for his 11th birthday, I gave him a Mrs. Weasley sweater in his house colors with a C on the front. And so for Taylor's 11th birthday, I will be giving her a sweater. She's a Gryffindor, according to Pottermore. They have a quiz you can take. So yeah, so this will be her Mrs. Weasley sweater that I will gift her for her birthday, which is not till November. But you guys, this is what I've been working on so much. Clearly, I think I'm going to make it big. Like, it's definitely big, and it's going to block out a bit bigger than this. I keep looking at it because it's just such a beautiful color. It's going to look so great on her. But yeah, so I tested it out against one of her other sweaters, and so it is significantly bigger than that, so that's good. She's very like slender, but I do want to make it nice and long sleeves so that she can wear it for a while. So yeah, I had to cake up the next ball of the cranberry color. So this is Cascade 220 and this is cranberry. And then I did cake up, while I was caking stuff up, I did cake up the sunflower. So that is just like a beautiful golden color. So that will be for the tee that I will put on the front of the sweater. So yay! I'm very excited about that. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful. And the pattern is such a long name, Mrs. Weasley's Home Knit Christmas Sweater by Martaschmarta, and it is in the official Harry Potter knitting book. So that is that one. I love roundy knitting, where you just go around and around and around. I'll have to measure it and see where I'm at, how much longer I have to go. But I will be doing the sleeves in the round as well, and then I'll have to do the front and back of the top part of the sweater. Will be back and forth, but that's okay. I don't find my gauges that much different between a flat knitting and a round knitting, so should be okay. Should be okay. Little block out. That is it for works in progress, and we will move on to next on my needles. So I have a couple ideas of things that can be next on my needles. The Northern Knits podcast, who I have talked about before, are having a spring equinox cal. So it starts on Sunday, March 20th, and it will go to June 20th. So it's 3 months. Is that right? Yes. Pretty sure that's right. If I'm wrong, I'm going to put it down below. Anyway, the theme is spring. So really, you can kind of work anything that you like into, as long as you can work it into the spring theme. If you're going to wear it in the spring, if it's a, flower or I don't know, storm or whatever, like you can work it into the spring. So, yeah, they're pretty chill about that. But there are 2 tops that I have been wanting to make that are very spring-like, and I don't know, I still haven't fully decided what yarn I'm going to use yet, but I have 2, so I'll just talk about them. I'll put in pictures as we go along of the pattern and the yarn that I'm planning on using, because I didn't pull it out because it's like in my yarn bins and I still don't have my stuff from my yarn room, or else I'd be recording in there. So anyway, that's a long story. We will get there. So back to what's next on my needles. So the first one is the Pedal Party Crop. And I don't know how cropped I would make this, but I was thinking it'd just be a nice summer top to have. I don't know, fancy top. I don't know. It looks really cute. I have like a rainbow gradient yarn that I have really wanted to use for a long time, and I haven't found the right pattern for it. It is kind of a light fingering. It's from Knit Picks. Oh, I don't remember. I will put all the details up on the screen. So the Pedal Party Crop is by Samantha Guerin? I don't know. Sorry. I will put it. So it doesn't have much of a sleeve, and it has some nice lace details on it. It looks loose and flowy, and it'd be cute over like a dress or even with jeans. I don't know. We'll see. I see how long I might make it. I'm not so into the cropped, but I'm not going to make it super long either. So that is the first option, and I think I'm leaning towards that option. The other one is the Rocket Tee by Tanis Lavely, and that one has been in my queue like basically since it came out. I do have some black, what is it now? The fuzzy yarn, the like lace weight fuzzy yarn. So I'm sure by now I've put a picture of the tee up, and it has like stripes, and one of the yarns is that kind of fuzzy mohair, and the other one, gosh, I don't know where my words are, and then the other one is just a regular sock yarn or some sort of fingering weight yarn. So I have some black in the mohair. I think it's mohair. Kydd silk, maybe. I don't know. Again, pictures, description below. So I have that already. I have plenty of that, so I can totally make this. I just need to find the right yarn to go with the black, because I don't want something that's too stripy, but I also want something that's going to show definition between the black and it. So I'll have to take a peek in my stash and see what I can come up with, but I have a couple ideas. So yeah, so there is that. Those are my kind of two options. There's a cast on party this weekend. I don't know whether I'll cast on or not, but I might swatch, maybe. I think I might swatch and then rip it out and use it. We'll see. I'm leaning towards the pedal party. I don't know. It's just calling to me. But I really like the look of the rocket tee. But I'm not sure about the mohair. I just don't know. I don't know. Who knows? You guys can have an opinion on this too. Put your choice down below, or if you have other ideas on like a spring top that maybe the name or something has something to do with spring. Yeah, I'm up to ideas. There is, if you go to the Northern Knits website, then there is like the rules of the CAL and all that kind of stuff is there. And I believe there's like a list of patterns that they came up with, some ideas in case you're stuck. So lots of fun things there. So that's it for Next on My Needles, and we will move on to chatter. So spring feels like it is just around the corner. The street sweepers are out because they put down all this gravel when they sand and gravel when they de-ice the roads. So they have to sweep it all up at the end of the season. They have been out once through our street already, so that is super awesome. However, because of the way we have our trailer parked, they often don't do right in front of our house, even though it would totally be fine, but whatever. So that is good. It has been reasonable weather. There have been some pretty sunny days and some pretty cloudy, rainy days, which is typical for spring. It's okay. So yeah, so that's been really nice. I've been out for some very nice walks around the neighborhood. It's starting to get lighter in the evening. Of course, with the time change, that totally helped. So I've been able to get a few more videos while I've been out walking about. The deer are around our yard right now. There were some pretty close. I got a little video of them. And yeah, they've been visiting us lots because we back onto a cattle range that actually backs onto Crown land. So we get lots of wildlife right in the back of our house. So that is super. And it was actually warm enough to go sit on the deck in the sunshine for a couple days. So that was really nice. We put out our furniture, and of course it was all frosted over this morning, but that's all right. So we've been doing lots of outside things. Yeah, when I sat outside, it was still cold. So I had like wool sweater, cowl, toque, sunglasses, blanket, shoes. So it was a bundle up kind of situation, but it was really nice to be outside in the sunshine. And we had a friend over that we were looking after for an afternoon. So we went down to the park, which my kids don't normally like to go to, like playgrounds. They're kind of growing out of that kind of stuff. But with the other kid there, they were like, yeah, let's go down to the playground. So we went down, we took the badminton set. We did that for a bit. They ran around on the playground. They were doing there's a new like accessible swing thing that they have at this new playground. And they were, swinging on it in all sorts of weird ways. I'll put a video in at the end. It was really fun. They were having a blast. So that is great. It is the kids' spring break starting next week. So they have 2 weeks off of school. Today is their last day before spring break. So it's going to be super fun. We're having some friends come visit, and 2 different sets of friends at different times. So it will be busy. The kids will be here. They'll be at grandma's house. They've got rock climbing. They're going to a friend's house. Like, it's just going to be really busy. Hopefully I can keep up on my work stuff. It might be a fair amount of them just sitting around playing video games, or me kicking them out of the house to go for a bike ride. We will see what happens with that, but I'm sure the kids they're ready for a break. They need a break from school, and that will be very good. I've been reading or listening to the Gaslight Mysteries. I can't remember which one I'm on now, like 10 or something like that. I'm addicted to them, and I just keep listening. They're just lovely stories, they're a cozy mystery, so they're not too intense. But there are some trigger warnings, if there's lots of stuff around pregnancy and losing babies and murder and, stuff like that. So it is at the turn of the century, which is really fun time. The other book series that I have been reading and listening to on audiobooks is The Expanse. And I quite enjoy this series. I'm feeling a little like it's such a vast world, and there's so much to explore, and there's so many characters. Every book there's a couple new characters, but also some that cross over, and like it's a lot. It's a lot. There is a TV series out there. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and I haven't watched it yet. But now that I'm in like the 5th book, I think that I'm good to watch the TV show just to see what they do differently and stuff like that. So that might be something coming up on my watch list soon. I have been rewatching Star Trek Voyager, so that's been super fun. Nobody else in my house likes Star Trek, so I just watch it by myself. I love it. It's kind of a nostalgic thing. My dad loved it too, so we would watch it together. So that is super fun. And he probably is watching reruns of it too because he loved it so much. Next Generation will always be my favorite, but the other ones are good too. And what else am we watching? My husband and I had been watching Critical Role. We've been catching up on campaign 3. So we've been watching a little bit every day. So hopefully we'll get caught up to the live shows. So that will be super fun. We play D&D a lot. And so it's fun to see some people who've been playing for a long time. They're character actors, they're voice actors. They really get into their character. And if you don't really know what it's all about, I would suggest you go check out their YouTube channel and see if you can check out some of the like one-shots or shorter campaigns first, before you delve into a whole campaign, because it's like more than a year's commitment. So anyway, but it is super fun to watch. I'm glad we've started that up again. And coming out next Friday, so a week from today, is the next season of Bridgerton. I've read all the books. I'm sure I told you guys on the podcast before. I love the shows. I love all the books. They're very different, but I'm so excited to watch all that. I told my husband I'm just going to stay up all night and watch it all when it comes out on Friday. I probably won't, but I will enjoy watching that. So that is good. And in the province of BC, we have a bunch of updates to our COVID mandates. So we no longer need to wear masks at indoor places like shopping centers and whatnot. So that is different. Still, a lot of people are wearing masks. So I'm not, everywhere I've been, I've still worn masks. You still have to wear a mask in like medical buildings and stuff like that. But just opening up a bit after spring break, which their last day of school is today. So when they come back from spring break, kids will not have to wear masks at school anymore. So we'll see. I think that will be a large adjustment for a lot of kids. A lot of kids will just like, woohoo, we're done kind of thing. And it will be a big relief for the teachers though, because then those kids that really do want to wear a mask can still wear it and it's not a big deal. But then those kids where they just have to tell them all the time to put their mask back on, that'll alleviate that problem. So seems like the numbers are coming down here and things are safer and more people are doing stuff outside. Yeah. And then later next month, the passports for your vaccination is phasing out. So yeah, and to cross the border will be, you won't need to do a PCR test before you cross back into Canada anymore. You just need to show your vaccination status. But if you're not vaccinated, then you still need to do a PCR test, and that's coming up in April as well. So just some changes, makes things different for us. We are hoping to travel to the US in May. There's a place where we go quadding. There's a campsite that's like right on a trail system. So we can camp there and quad right from there. And it's just a different place to go. Also it's the US, so everything's cheaper. So then we drive through and, you know, pick up a bunch of cheap things and stuff that's different priced in the US. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in May and everything will be good. Yeah, we're going to be getting the quads out, not this weekend, but hopefully next weekend. We'll see how much snow is still up there. I don't enjoy driving in the snow, but I'm sure I will take lots of videos and stuff that weekend, and you can see them on the next podcast. The last thing that I want to talk about is something that has been taking up a lot of my mind space lately. So over the last few years, I've noticed that my allergies, I have seasonal allergies. I'm allergic to grass and weeds, and some trees, as well as pets. And those are all very slight allergies. And we don't have any pets in the house, so it doesn't affect me on a regular basis. But I have noticed that through the winter months, when I should not be getting any seasonal allergies, I still have a stuffy nose, my throat is kind of and my eyes are still running and stuff like that. So I went back to the allergist, which I do about every 5 years, it seems, just to get an updated set of tests. They do the things, they prick your arms for all the things. She ended up doing a bunch of blood work as well, and it turns out that I'm actually allergic to wheat gluten. So it is part of the celiac disease bubble, but it doesn't affect my tummy in the same way that it would for other people. I just get the allergy symptoms of the runny nose, the yucky throat, the eyes, kind of feel like I'm in a fog a little bit. So anyway, so now I have to avoid wheat, which is good. I mean, it's just going to help me to avoid a lot of processed things, you know, make my own bread, things like that. So it's good. It's just a bit of a change, kind of. So this has been the first like full week where we've really buckled down on doing that. You know, it's hard. It's hard because the rest of my family wants to have pasta for dinner, or we want to order pizza from Domino's. And I'm like, well, I can't, right? So I can, like there's gluten-free crust and stuff like that, but I'm trying to be really good for the first while so that I can really get my body back in a better shape. So it's something to process. I'm feeling a little depressed about it because I love my cakes and my cookies and my desserts and stuff like that. So I'll just have to find some different options on what I can do. I mean, my mom is also allergic to wheat, so, and she doesn't get necessarily the same symptoms, but she does get hives and things like that from it. So it's, you know, similar kind of ballpark reactions. And I remember growing up, like we'd have like K-moot pasta and stuff like that, but it was not good. It was not good, guys. Like in the 80s and 90s, gluten-free was just like garbage. It was garbage. It was not good. So she just avoided all of that. She had rice a lot, which I can still have rice. I can have oats. I just can't have barley, rye, wheat. Those are kind of like that kind of area. But oats seem to be okay. So yes. So there are lots of gluten-free options. Restaurants are very aware of gluten-free and different allergies now. So it's not a huge problem. It's just a changing of my mindset. So that is been tough. It's been tough just to kind of process that, figure out how that's going to look for me. You know, like Cooper, even for his birthday next week, he's like, oh, can we get an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen? And I'm like, sure we can, but I can't have any, which is fine. We'll get it. He wants it for his birthday. Everyone else can eat it. We have some friends that are there that day, and Grandma and Fafa will come, so it'll get eaten. That's not, he'll get the cake he wants for his birthday, but I'm sad that I can't partake in it, right? So anyway, So it's just causing me some emotions. I've been doing lots of research online instead of knitting because I want to be able to still, you know, like when we go quadding in the summer, it's really great to be able to take a sandwich because it's a quick, easy, travels well kind of thing while we're out in the middle of nowhere, instead of me having, you know, a plate full of veggies and some cheese or something. And, you know, like it just, yeah. So just gonna take some processing on my end to figure this out. And I know there are lots of great options out there. And I have made bread, not necessarily gluten-free bread, but I have made bread and other things before. So it's not completely foreign to me to make things from scratch at home. So it's just emotionally draining to figure this out. And, but I hope that it will allow me to feel a lot better day to day, which is good. So I think that is all that I am going to chatter on about for today. And I hope you enjoyed that episode. And at the end here, I'm going to put in some lovely, happy videos and less depressing things than me being gluten-free. So enjoy the little things at the end. And I do have a few clips at the end of some bloopers, so make sure you stay to the end. Also, please like and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment down below. I love interacting with you guys. So I hope you have a great couple weeks, and we will see you next time. Bye. Going so terribly. Why is this so terrible? Okay. This, there it is there. I just jogged the stairs. I'm out of breath.